Having collectible items like health or ammunition is a core mechanic of many games, but how do you actually create a system, a script that will randomly or procedurally spawn those items? And how do you create the functionality that you can gather them and also make them respawn so that you don't have to do everything by yourself? Hi, my name is Toby, and in today's video I'm going to show you exactly that. It's not a step-by-step tutorial, but I'm going to show you the scripts that I wrote and how they work. And of course, all the code is in the video description, so you can just download it and include it in your game. So let's get going. Okay, so this is currently the game view that we're here, but let's take a look of the scene and how the functionality of the script is. So if we now pause everything and start over again, you will see that in this mock environment that I built here, there will be, I think it should be 12 of those items. In my case, those are balloons, will be spawned. And then let's zoom in a bit. So this is completely random and procedural. It will, as soon as you gather a balloon, as you can see here, spawn a new one, and it also will not place those balloons randomly inside of those obstacles that I placed here. Okay, so how is it done and how can you achieve this effect? Let's open Visual Studio. So these are the three scripts that are important, and let's begin with the easiest one, which is going to be on every single item. So this is the item manager, and basically all we have here is a event action that is called on collision. So what this does is you put this script on every the script will be on every item that you want to place. So in my case, if we take a look at the prefab of the balloon or the item, let's quickly run the game so I don't have to search it in the project window. So here is one balloon item in this case. So if we take a look here at the right side, you can see that this script is attached to the prefab that we're going to spawn. And all that it does is as soon as another object with a collision with a collider, and in this case this is the ship, hits the object, then it will invoke the event, and other objects can basically subscribe to that action, which we will see in a minute. So based on this collision, we can trigger different methods, different functions in other scripts. So this is all that it needs. So this class will be on the prefab. Then there will be the spawn item script. So this one is responsible for spawning all the power-ups, all the balloons in a procedural way in a certain range around an object. This could be the player, or you could also say, okay, I want to have a certain district where the power-ups will be distributed, or the items, and then this is also possible. So basically we have the amounts, and then we can say how many items do we want to have at the same time, and also the minimum distance, which is how far should it be away at least from another object. So for example, the obstacles or the colliders. Then there's the list with the balloons or the items that were spawned, and then the ones that were destroyed. Then we have the origin, which is quite important. So this is basically where will be the center around then the items are going to be spawned. And then also the range, obviously. So you got the center, and then in which direction, how many centimeters, meters, or whatever the float is going to be about. Okay, so then it's quite easy. So in the beginning we will just spawn as many of the items as we want, and then we will subscribe obviously to the on collision method that we just looked up here in the item manager. So as soon as this event is invoked, so as soon as our player hit the item, then we want to call the destroy item, in this case destroy balloon method. So in the spawn balloon method, we're just gonna test first with a sphere cast. So basically a ray cast, some like an explosion, you could say. We will test whether we hit any kind of obstacles, and if yes, then we will add those to an object list, and then we will determine a random position for the item, depending on of course the range, the origin, so the object that will be the center of the items, and also of the obstacles that obviously should not be in the possible radius of placement. And finally, we want to destroy the items as soon as the player or maybe enemy, for example, hits them. So we will remove them from our list, we will destroy them, and then but spawn another item. Okay, so this is the script, and if this one is attached, so this can be attached to any kind of object. So I just called it, I think it's spawn place. So this is just the script attached, and here we have the item that should be spawned, then how many, so we could say 5 or 6 or 12, and you need to be careful if your range is small, if you have many obstacles. This is set up with a recursive method. It might not be the smartest way, but it works well so far. But then you can get a Stack Overflow exception because it won't find any place to put the items. So I'd rather always go with either less items or just increase the range. And then the minimum distance, so what's the minimum distance from an obstacle, for example. The origin, in this case, we have here our player, and you can see this black outline here. So this is basically showing the range. This is the onDraw Gizmos method, and if we decrease the range, then it will just get smaller or bigger. And this could also be in 3-dimensional. So if you do something with planes, with anything that flies, or even underwater, then you could also just have this in a full 3-dimensional space. But if you just want to have it on a surface level, then this could be just y at 0. And obviously this also just doesn't need to be the player. We could just create an empty object, and we could say call this loot area, for example. And let's see where object is, so just reset. And then the loot area might be somewhere here in the corner, and then we could just say the loot area is the origin, and then, well, the balloons or the items will be spawned here in this area. So the last script that we need to discuss is the ammo manager, and this is the one that is on the player, on the game object, that should be able to collect those items. And all we simply do here is we will have the ammo collected method, and this one is subscribed also to the on collision event of the actual item. So as soon as the collision happens, and then we could also obviously do a segmentation. We could do an if statement and find out whether this is actually the player or maybe some other entity. Then we will just call the ammo collected method, which will increase the ammo by 10. And then again, we could also make an item manager, for example, for health, for any other power up that you want to include, and then obviously call different methods here. So you could subscribe, you could say, make another action or event, and for a different kind of object with a different kind of prefab. So this should also work fine. Alright, so this is pretty much it for the script. As I said, it's in the video description. You can download it, use it in your projects as you wish. And if you have any questions or any further ideas for more useful scripts or mechanics, then feel free to leave a link in the description. And until then, see you guys, and thanks for watching.